This is stuff you like, and for all of the hand-wringing, I don't think that human beings are quite post-truth just yet. I mean, how did you feel at the end of Inception? I suppose it was released in 2010, so you may be a little fuzzy on the details. So the plot of Inception goeth thusly. Leonardo DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt steal thoughts out of people's heads. A businessman called Saito wants to hire them to perform the opposite trick for him. Inception. Invisibly plant a thought in the head of the heir to a major corporation to get him to break up his father's empire and be his own man. If they do this, Saito claims, he will arrange it so that Dom Cobb can go back to his children. And so they do dreams within dreams, and it all gets very complicated, especially because Leo, aka Dom Cobb's dead wife, keeps popping up as a manifestation of his guilt over her death and, like, messing things up and shooting people. Cobb and his architect, Ariadne, I see what you did there, movie, end up going right down into limbo, and after some shenanigans, Cobb wakes up at the end and can finally return to his children. Hooray! But has he returned to the real world, or is this just a comforting fantasy cooked up by his mind? He keeps a totem with him at all times, a spinning top, and he spins it to know whether or not he's in a dream or reality. If he's in reality, he spins the top and it falls. In dreams, it just keeps on spinning. At the end of Inception, he spins the top before he goes outside to meet his children again. And we zoom in, and the top wobbles, and the credits roll. Inception's ending was emotionally harrowing for me because it refuses to provide closure. It builds the tension between dreams and reality for the whole of the runtime, and then it refuses to release it. How dare it do this thing? It's a really good movie. Also, those sets are amazing. Now, a properly postmodern sort, which I'm definitely not, would feel no emotional twinge at all at the end of Inception. Postmodernism is a mid to late 20th century movement marked by irony, skepticism, and a mistrust of grand narratives. Postmodernism is not down with the idea that there's really such a thing as absolute truth. The ideas of moral absolutism and objective reality are also not really a postmodern thing. So a postmodernist, or anyone who doesn't get invested in stories, would conclude that whether or not the top fell was immaterial because Dom is with his children and he's happy and surely that's what counts. Or that it's just a movie and so it doesn't really matter at all. And yes, it is fairly obvious that it doesn't really matter because it is, after all, only a movie. But because we get invested in movies as if they are real, the ending of Inception really does a number on you. And it's especially affecting because Dom Cobb's entire arc is about the tension between dreams and reality and whether he will embrace reality, as painful as it is, or if he will just take refuge in dreams. When we get to the end of the movie, we go to limbo, the realm beneath even dreams, where a lifetime can pass without a minute doing so in the real world. Maul, or the projection of Maul that he has in his head, tells him that he knows that reality is a lie and that she is real. But that's not true, she's just a manifestation of his guilt, and he has to come to terms with the fact that he bears responsibility for her death. He has to come to terms with the fact that he planted the idea in her head that reality isn't real, and because he did this at the deepest levels of her subconscious, it is not a thought she can unthink, and that it was that thought that drove her to suicide, and that even if he succeeds, he is going to have to return to a world in which she no longer exists. Now, we know, as does he, that we have spent a large part of the movie in reality. We have seen Dom's spinning top fall. We've seen Arthur's loaded die. We even saw Ariadne making a totem. And that's key because for this to work, we need to know that there is a reality that Dom can come back to. For what it's worth, I chose to interpret the wobble as indicative of the fact that the spinning top was going to slow down and eventually stop because they're in the real world and I am a sucker for a happy ending. Yeah, you know it. But the intentional ambiguity means that you have to make a choice like that. You have to decide whether the top spins or whether it falls. If we accept that a movie is a kind of reality in which rules apply, then either the top was going to fall because it was in reality, or it wasn't because it was in a dream. There is theoretically a truth that can be grasped here. Either the horrifying implication that none of this is real, or the comfort of a happy ending. Which makes it tough, right? Because people are already hugely prone to motivated reasoning. And so your answer probably just reflects your own bias. Did you want a nice happy ending where everything is real, or a nice happy ending which is not actual reality, or a horrifying ending where reality is rejected? And since those last two are the same ending but from different perspectives, it makes it even more fuzzy. But when it comes to Inception, it is just a movie and so it doesn't matter, but in the search for truth more generally, motivated reasoning is a killer. Motivated reasoning is how you get people who believe the Earth is flat looking at pictures of the International Space Station, or the pictures the International Space Station has taken, and concluding that no, they're all hoaxes because it's a conspiracy to make us believe that the Earth is a sphere. Motivated reasoning is how you end up with conspiracy theories. Motivated reasoning is how you end up with the Da Vinci Code. You'll need to hold that thought until next time, but oh boy, we're gonna get into it. But that's all for this episode, so let me know in the comments, did you like Inception, or did the hype train that came along with it at the time of its release kind of sour it for you? Did the whole is reality real thing feel a bit too much like the Matrix for you? And did you like the Da Vinci Code? If so, I've got some bad news about the next episode. And as always, if you enjoy the show and you would like to support it, then there is a link to Patreon to the right of my head. Thank you, as always, to my patrons who make this show possible, and I will see you next time for the Sacred Feminine or something.